And how are things in Phoenix today?
They're good. It's we got like a big dust storm rolling through today.
Really?
So yeah, but otherwise it's nice and warm and not too much going on. How's it over there?
Well, it's just coming to the end of summer here, so
Wow.
transitioning into to autumn. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Nice.
We're in a bit of a lockdown situation for a week, so that's
Are you?
we were kind of in and out of it, and we kind of thought we were
Yeah.
done with all that, but then a couple of cases popped up, so
Oh
I'm stuck in the
no.
house all day, but that's all right.
Dang. Well, I've been over here looking at you guys with big hard eyes because you've been able to do things. And I guess people are here too. We haven't been in much of a lockdown for a long time. It's kind of a choose your own adventure, but I've been staying home, so
That's probably a smart move.
yeah.
I
It's
see,
pretty
was
crazy.
it Texas and Missouri? No, not Missouri, Mississippi or someplace around there. They've opened everything up.
Fully open. I think they're even taking their mask mandate away.
Yeah.
Everything. It's
Yep.
absolutely insane.
We'll see how that works out, I guess.
Not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good at all.
Well, science, what is that?
I don't know. We don't know what that is here. We don't subscribe to that
No, I
bananas.
know that. Man, oh man. But which leads us to the title of your new album, which is I Will
Yes.
See You at the End of the World. Have you been thinking
Yeah.
about the end of the world? Are you feeling that is kind of imminent?
Yeah, I've been feeling that for a long time. I don't know about everybody else, but I've been paranoid about this kind of stuff happening for years just because I have a lot of anxiety.
Oh dear.
So yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, the album is kind of about that feeling that I've had for a long time that something bad was going to happen eventually, and always kind of feeling like I'm running out of time and
right,
trying
right.
to trying to live my life to the fullest while it's still here.
Yeah, well, that's probably a wise move at this juncture. I mean,
Yep.
because there's like everybody's predicting something horrible is going to happen tomorrow in the States, right? With
Yeah, and it's always kind of been that way with like the crazy Mayan predictions, and everybody's always kind of like theorizing about the end times,
right.
I guess.
So
So
do you do research on that? Do you kind of look? You mentioned the Mayans, so
I don't know. I don't know if I personally believe in any of the like actual conspiracy theory kind of things. I just kind of see how like delicate the balance of the world is. Everything is just so we're just kind of scraping by in
right,
so many
right.
different ways. So there's so many things that could go wrong at any given time. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of math, I guess.
Yep. And in the middle of all that, you've put out your album.
Sure did.
So it came out. Was it last weekend?
Yep,
Last
last
Friday, right?
Friday. Yep.
And what was that day like for you?
Oh man, honestly, it just like a big weight off my shoulders because that's been, my whole life kind of leading up to wanting to make a full length and wanting to get it out there to people. So this is the time that I really fully went for it. I've done EPs and singles and stuff like that before that I wasn't, didn't totally have my heart in, didn't come out the way that I envisioned in my mind. And this time I really, really put a lot of intention into it and saved up money for 2 years to make it. And it was a lifelong endeavor in a lot of ways.
Yeah, such is the status of the music industry these days, isn't it? Yeah, everybody's got to do their own thing with their own money. It's got to be kind of
Yeah.
frustrating. The
Hey,
days
if
of
you
getting
love
a
it,
giant wad
you
of money from Warner Brothers is all over with, I guess.
right.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
So when and where did you write and record this record?
I wrote it over the course of 2018 to 2019. And then we made the record last January 2020, right before shit hit the fan.
Yep.
In Seattle, Washington, there's a
Oh.
studio called Hall of Justice,
Right.
where Death Cab for Cutie made most of their early records. Big inspiration for me. Before that, Nirvana made records there. It was just kind of a very legendary, tiny little cozy studio, but a lot of history and a lot of like really incredible gear,
Right.
tape machines, cool toys to play with. Lots
Are you
of
kind of a gearhead?
kind of. I'm getting
Yeah.
to be now. I had listened to all those kinds of records for my whole life and like had this like sense of mystery about how those kinds of sounds got made and kind of
Right.
like really into atmosphere and like weirder kind of textures and sounds, and never really knew how to go about making those sounds myself. So getting to be in that studio and with people that have done that kind of stuff, I learned a lot and have gotten super into it.
Right. So it's interesting. You're kind of very, basing your sound, and you're influenced by the 90s. If I'm not mistaken, you were born in the 90s.
Yeah, 92.
92. So,
Yeah.
But it's interesting that, you're not listening or inspired by stuff when you were a teenager. It's more even before you were old enough to listen to the radio or anything.
Right.
And I can say the same for myself. I was born in the 50s. And I remember when I was your age, I loved the music of the 1950s. I'd be Chuck Berry and Little Richard all over the place. So
yeah.
It must be something to do with something in the human brain that connects you with the music that was popular when you were born.
Right. There's something about it. Yeah, just like, my parents obviously like played a lot of that kind of music around the house. So it was
right.
What I grew up in, even if it wasn't, even if I was too young to perceive that I was hearing it, I was hearing it.
Right. So once you got up to the studio and you were kind of surrounded by this environment, what was the process like working in there?
Well, we started out just kind of like laying down the basic structure of the songs. I wrote everything just acoustic guitar and voice. Right. So we started there, and I brought some demos with me to the studio. I kind of just laid out some of the really important parts to me, like, little guitar parts, little riffs and stuff that were like in my head and needed to be there. And so we started with those and then built around the rest of it. And we had a whole month, which is longer than I've ever spent in the studio. Not that long comparatively to other people, I'm guessing, but for me, it was
there are stories of
yes
on forever. Yeah. But then again, I don't think Nirvana spent a month in the studio working either. So
probably not. So there was a lot of time to just mess around and throw spaghetti at the wall and then take some away and then put stuff back. So there was a lot of experimenting that happened, and some of the songs we redid 2 and 3 times in different ways to land on what we liked. But I was really lucky to have my partner, Chuck Morris, was with me. He's an awesome bass player, and he plays synth and keys and all kinds of fun stuff. So a lot of experimenting happened.
And the producer was a gentleman by the name of Sam Rawson. Is that right?
Yes.
So what did he contribute to the mix?
A lot. He works a lot in that studio particularly. He's one of their house engineers. So he's worked a lot with my good friend Danielle Durack has done a couple records with him, and a lot of more like Indian folk kind of acts. So he made a lot of tape loops. That's kind of his specialty, is the ambient tape loop, and a lot of just kind of weirder synth sounds. And he's master of texture, which is again just really what I love.
Right. The album kicks off with a song called "I Refuse to Die." And there's like some big crashing guitar chords, and there's also a video that's going along with it. It's kind of a newscasty type of thing.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was any kind of commentary on fake news, or you're just having a good time behind the...
Yeah, it was, we made that video. I put out the song, it was, I think, like a month into quarantine last year. So it was like June of 2020. And obviously, like, we made it in my apartment. There was no big crew or anything. I had a green screen and an iPhone and an idea of just kind of like capturing, that moment in time of just like, so the news was just crazy. The news was like, it was like reading The Onion every day, watching like what was actually happening in the world. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of capture that experience.
And it seems like when you make your videos, one kind of links to the other. Like I noticed in Object Permanence, you could see the previous video in the background, and you also have this polka dot kind of outfit that appears on a couple of them, which I was
Yeah.
hoping you were going to be wearing today, actually.
Oh, dang it. I'll go put it on. Yeah, I love Easter eggs, and I love tying everything together, because the record really is a lot of that for me. It's a lot of different times that coincided with each other in weird ways, and kind of did a similar thing with the album art, where the album art itself is this room with all of these different components that are in the single arts that led up to it. So I love planting little like hints in there that maybe nobody else would ever think too much into, but I thought a lot about all of it.
I'm sure you did. Have you, since this is your first full-length album, did you have to think about how you're presenting yourself, an image, how you're looking to other people, as well as just what the music is about?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I've had a lot of help. Again, my partner, he's in a band called Jared and the Mill. They just changed their name actually to Wheelwright. But there's a guy in the band, a good friend of mine named Michael Carter, and he's an amazing photographer. He's just kind of like a visual guy. So he's kind of been guiding me through this whole process. He did all the single art. He's been a part of all the videos, and just kind of helped me curate my own personality into everything that we've done.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
And I see you did some dunking for apples in one of them as well.
Yes. I've been in, except for the I Refuse to Die video, I've been in physical danger in every single video we've shot. I gave myself a concussion on the Steve video, which is the one in the Blue Room. I almost got hypothermia in the Apple tank.
Man, I didn't know that music was so dangerous these days.
It's rock and roll, baby.
I guess. So, and songwriting wise, when you're writing these songs, are you thinking about writing songs all the time? Do you have to go into a space to sit down and write? How does the process work for you?
It's a little different every time. There's some times where I feel the need to write something, so I'll be more intentional about it. But most of, at least the songs on this record, came about from just like being really in my feelings or going through something and just kind of having to get it out. A sentence or a line will pop into my head, and then I'll pick up the guitar, and it all just kind of like falls out a piece at a time.
And were you worried about it being a kind of bleak sounding or feeling, or is that what you were after?
I think that's just kind of what comes out on its own. That's just kind of what it's like in my head. And I guess that's part of the point of writing the song, is to get it out of my head. And so I can live and be more positive. It's not all floating around out there. Once I write it down and it's out there, it's kind of better.
And are you feeling more optimistic and positive these days?
I think so. I think so. It's hard to tell because, every day is different, and who knows what's going to happen next. But I feel generally like it might be okay. Right.
Now, you said rock and roll. You do have a rock and roll thing going on. Do you have a band that you play with when you're playing out? When and if you play out ever again?
Yeah, I kind of have like an expanding situation. So I spent most of the last 15 years playing solo, like cover gigs, like bars, restaurants, hotels. We have a big like resort scene here in Phoenix.
Right.
So just kind of background noise, me and an acoustic guitar. Yeah. Has been my gig for a long time. Just
what did you learn from that experience?
So much. Oh my God. To be humble.
I'm sure. Yeah.
One of the main lessons. But just like the hours and hours and hours of practice. Most of those gigs are 3 to 5 hours long. So I've spent just like an insane amount of time physically playing and singing and learning covers on the spot, and being entertaining is the name of the game. So I've learned a lot about that.
And when you're doing a lot of covers, obviously you have to kind of learn the song. Does that affect your songwriting? Do you learn things from listening to these old songs?
Definitely. And I think that's why my music is kind of so all over the place, is because I do a little bit of everything. I try to make everybody happy when I'm in those kind of situations. So I've learned, all eras, all genres. There's really nothing that's off limits for me, and that definitely bleeds into my writing.
Right. So what is a live show like for you, with you?
It depends. Now I don't know. It's been a long minute, but it could either, I'm really comfortable just me and an acoustic guitar. Me and my partner have a setup now for a duo where he's got an Ableton live rig going on, right. And it's kind of more kind of broken down, kind of electronic versions of the record itself, and then sometimes it's a full band, more indie alternative rock vibes. Just depends on the time and place.
Okay. And one of the more pensive songs on the album is called Wrong-O. And you say you might be wrong a lot. Almost got a whispered feel to it. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about making that one.
I think that's probably, it changes every day. I think that's probably my favorite song on the record.
I'll ask you again tomorrow.
Yeah, ask me tomorrow. It'll probably be different. But that song is about just getting really, really lucky and being with someone who's way too good for you, and learning from them how to be a better person. Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's way too good for you, that's not a good attitude. No wonder. Well, it gives you stuff to write about anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
So have you been writing more since you've been kind of there's not much else you can do? Has it been a creative time for you?
On and off. When quarantine first started, I did a songwriting workshop for 3 months, and that was like the most I've ever written in a period of time. I wrote I think 30 or 40 songs. Right. So it was like a really intense bit of writing a whole lot. And then once I got into the release process of this record, it kind of, my brain switched over into the making music videos and promoting and all of that stuff. So not as much lately, but I'll be able to.
Right. Well, I imagine putting the record out, it takes a bit of energy. And have you gotten much feedback from people about the record?
Yeah, a lot. It's been, really cool. It just my own circle and through PR and stuff, getting write-ups and stuff. I haven't had nobody's trashed me yet.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm still waiting, but it's all been really good, and it seems like people genuinely appreciate the songs and the sentiment, which is
well, that's a good thing. Although I would say you haven't really made it until you've been trashed.
Right. Yeah. Once I start getting haters, I'll know.
Yeah, there you go. All righty. Well, thank you for spending time talking to me. I really appreciate it. Come down to New Zealand if you get a chance. We'd love to see you.
I will be on my way as soon as it's possible. I'm headed straight for you.
All right. Well, we'll be looking for you. I don't know how long that's going to be, though. It's kind of iffy all the time.
I know it, but
even Australians can't come around at the moment, and they're just across the pond. So there you go. But anyway, thank you very much. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.